I hold in my hand the paper of truth.
Of justice. Of the American way. The Andrew Filipponi, the highly and hotly anticipated Ponies top 10 NFL coaches for 2022. I made my own list on the side of my rundown.
Is it your own personal rankings or what you expect my rankings to be?
It is my guess for your rankings. I just do not look at the quote tweet I just put out there, Pony.
I'm not.
Do not look at that. My rankings are out there, so now you can see proof of life. I'll even hold them up on the video feed right there. Boop. We'll see how accurate I was. Pony's top 10 coaches. Now, where did Mike Tomlin slot in 2021?
He was 10th.
And that was the second edition of this list, correct?
And he made the playoffs in 2021. They won 9 games.
Mm-hmm.
They tied the Lions. They beat the Browns and Ravens the last 2 weeks of the year to make the playoffs. Tua didn't play. Alu was injured. But Tomlin employed Matt Canada. And he also cobbled together one of the worst NFL offensive lines I've ever seen. Today, the NFL went with an overtime idea that was almost as if, out of spite, they wanted to do the exact opposite of what Tomlin recommended. Which is interesting because he sits on the competition committee. Imagine...
Well, the Supreme Court can issue rulings even though a justice doesn't agree. That's why they can have a dissent.
Imagine you're on the competition committee. It's your time. It's your turn to talk. You put blood, sweat, and tears and time, like I did, into these NFL head coach rankings. And you lay it all out there. I'm a sudden death guy, said Mike Tomlin.
Mm-hmm.
And he went on and on about it. And all of his peers and colleagues said, all right, Mike, we'll take it under consideration. And then they did the exact opposite. How would that make you feel, Chris?
Well, I'm used to having people crap on my ideas, so I'd be all right with it. You weren't expecting that one, were you, Chaluch?
No, I really wasn't.
He's an old school guy. I mean, honest
well, then the NFL,
to God, it fits with what he says.
Well, you know what he needs to do?
I'm all about ball.
But what happened to the old Mike Tomlin? Get on the moving train. You know why that analogy doesn't work? Because people barely use trains now. So even his Tomlinisms are dated. He's got to update them. Get on the electric car.
Wait, people still use trains? Just because we don't live in the Acela corridor on 95 doesn't mean people don't ride trains.
Yeah, but it's not the primary way of travel.
Or what about the Empire Builder? What about the Empire Builder? You can travel across the country on the Empire Builder.
Didn't Obama like 10 years ago say that he was going to create like a network of incredibly fast-moving trains throughout the United States?
Oh, they've been doing that incredibly fast-moving trains thing forever, and no one ever does it.
It goes back to the monorail on The Simpsons.
There was a big thing. You wouldn't know this because you didn't grow up around here. There was a big thing, the maglev project in Pittsburgh, the magnetic levitation or whatever it was supposed to be.
Let's not make people wait any longer.
Well, you're the one who's talking about trains.
We're playing the NFL Films music because today Andrew Filipponi is unveiling his head coach rankings for 2022.
Do you want me to live tweet them out one at a time?
Number 1 on my list.
Come on.
Is a lover of food and Hawaiian shirts.
Shoot.
Andy Reid.
Why did I do that, Donnie? Why did I not put him number 1?
Congratulations, Andy Reid. I have you right now as the number 1 coach in the NFL.
You want me to tell you where I had him?
Patrick Mahomes was the 3rd quarterback picked in that draft.
And he's the best one.
You turned him into a great one. You had him play behind Alex Smith. You made Alex Smith good. You're always in either the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl. First AFC coach to host 4 straight championship games. Patrick Mahomes blew it. He said he wanted to go for it. You listened like an idiot, but I'm not going to dock you too much. You're number 1 on my list. Congratulations, Andy Reid.
Which Bills championship game wasn't in Buffalo?
They had one in Miami.
They did?
Yeah.
Yep. Didn't know that. Okay, anyway.
Number 2 on my list. Sean McVay.
Oh, no.
Boy wonder.
Oh, no.
Super Bowl champion. They never have draft picks. They trade for vets. He believes in Aaron Donald just like me. By the way, I was invited to Aaron Donald's draft party. Have I told you guys that story before?
No, could you tell me how that came about?
Well, Aaron Donald had a big party at Savoy.
No, I was kidding. I don't care.
Sean McVay, too. Where is Mike Tomlin on my list, my power rankings of NFL head coaches for 2022?
You keep saying, where is he, thus suggesting that he made the list.
Very perceptive, Mulsey, but Bill Belichick is 3. Bill Belichick hasn't won a playoff game in 3 years. Bill Belichick, greatest coach of all time. Bill Belichick doesn't look as good in the post-Tom Brady era. So I'm not going to do the very disrespectful thing and move Bill Belichick down to 8th or 9th. But I'm going to put boy wonder Sean McVay and Hawaiian shirt-wearing Andy Reid ahead of him.
Even though Sean McVay tried repeatedly to screw up his team's playoff
These
run with
are
some
my
horrible
power
in-game
rankings
coaching.
and not yours, Chris. 4 on my list is Bruce Arians.
Okay.
Coach of the Year in Indy, Arizona, and a Super Bowl winner in Tampa Bay. Bruce Arians, number 4.
I don't look horrible on this so far, Donnie. Not horrible.
Number 5 on my list. Just kidding. Sean McDermott, the guy he played college football with.
Even though he squib kicked them straight to hell.
Yeah,
or failed to squib kick them.
If he gets that call right, he's probably 3.
If he gets that call right, he's probably 1 because he goes and wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, the Bills couldn't win a playoff game or even make a playoff game for 20 years. Sean McDermott showed up. They picked Josh Allen. They've developed Josh Allen. Now he looks really smart. 5th on my list, Sean McDermott. I think 6 on my list is going to be the most controversial because this guy wasn't coaching in the NFL last year. I got to give it up for my main man, Doug Peterson. Jacksonville Jaguars coach. You win a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. You win a Super Bowl with Nick Foles.
But then you got fired.
Andy Reid got fired by the Eagles.
You still got fired.
Andy Reid got fired by the Eagles. Bill Belichick got fired by the Cleveland Browns. And what did Pat Narduzzi tell us about that, Chris Muller? Would you like to share?
He might have had some choice words for what Bill Belichick was like as a coach with the Browns.
The guy won a Super Bowl with Nick
And then
Foles.
he went 9-7, 9-7, and 4-11-1.
Yeah, he had one awful year.
But he had 2 mediocre years.
No, he won playoff games those years. Well, he didn't win one because there was an injury. Wentz got hurt, and I don't think Foles was the backup. Some other scrub had to come in. And then he won in Chicago. He beat Mitch Trubisky. Take that, Starkey.
With the double doink.
7 on my list. Mm-hmm. It's an AFC North coach.
Oh, I know it ain't Mike Tomlin.
John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh, 7 on my list. NFL head coaches 2022.
This Doug Peterson thing waylaid me, Donnie. I was in pretty good shape here, and then it completely...
You probably forgot Doug Peterson was even an NFL head coach,
I just thought you were going to take a guy that didn't have to spend a year in the cooler because no one wanted him.
Number 8, Kyle Shanahan. Innovative offensive mind. When Jimmy Garoppolo plays, he looks good. When he doesn't, he kind of looks like crap. But then again, they just find running backs out of the abyss. Raheem Mostert's.
Your Jeff Wilson Jr.'s.
Who's the guy from Elijah Mitchell, the Ragin' Cajun? I got him 8th. How could I not?
Great offensive mind. No, he stole a lot of it from his dad, but still.
Number 9 on my list. I considered Frank Reich. I considered Matt LaFleur. You notice Matt LaFleur's name hasn't come up yet. Bunch of 13-win seasons. But not a ton of playoff success, Mulsey.
Oh, and you are a playoff success man.
Mike
like Robert
Vrabel
Kraft.
was willing to cut off his penis.
Yep, for a Super Bowl.
But Mike Vrabel didn't bathe himself in glory against the Bengals in the playoffs. Didn't bathe himself in glory when he came to Pittsburgh and got beat by the Steelers this year.
He probably wishes he could cut off somebody else's for
tempted,
costing him all those games.
I was tempted to give a career achievement award to Pete Carroll.
Yeah, but he sucks.
But he was so bad, Russell Wilson couldn't wait to get out of Seattle.
Yeah, he can't wait to run and play defense.
Zach Taylor as well. 1 year. I'm giving Joe Burrow more credit than you. I'm sorry. So,
wait a minute. By that logic, shouldn't you just be giving Matthew Stafford credit for the Rams?
Further ado, no, because he went to a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. Without any further ado, number 9 on my NFL head coach rankings is your head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin.
I nailed that one, Donnie. I nailed it. I did.
9.
I nailed it. Woohoo!
You're the 9th best coach in the NFL, Mike. How's it feel, buddy?
But see, I think by your standards, that's actually pretty bad because you'd fire anybody outside of the top 3 or 4.
Art Rooney reached for comment immediately at the end of this announcement. Just got back to Jeff Hathorne and said, quote, anytime you have the 9th best coach in the NFL, you can't complain.
Well, no, his would say, yeah, we'd have liked Mike to do more, but he is the 9th best head coach on Pony's rankings. He would have. It's always the yeah, but.
Yep.
So who's number 10, Chaluch?
I have Carroll there.